Doctors are supposed to be people we're able to trust. I mean, we literally put our lives in their hands. But sadly, not all doctors are looking out for their patients' best interests, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. Hey YouTube, I'm Court McGinley, and welcome back to the most amazing top 5. Sit back, subscribe, and let me entertain you. Before we get started, I want to know, do you trust your doctor? Let me know why or why not down in the comments. Also, I have a challenge for you guys. Let's try and get this video to 400 likes. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, then please do so you can stay up to date with our amazing top 5 lists. Alright, without further ado, let's get started on our list of the top 5 doctors caught doing horrible things. Coming in at our number 5 spot, Henry Howard Holmes. Now, some of you may have heard this man's name before, as he has been deemed one of the first noted serial killers. Henry was a physician back in the 1800s. In 1893, this physician decided to get into real estate and opened up a hotel. Now, to the outside person, Henry just looked like he had a lot of ambition, and he did, but he geared it towards his killer fantasies. The first floor of the hotel was a pharmacy and some shops, innocent enough. However, it was the higher floors you had to worry about. Henry had designed hundreds of windowless rooms, staircases that led nowhere, and only he knew the building's layout. He would lock guests in soundproof rooms, and he would kill each person in a specific way. After killing them, he dropped their bodies down a chute that ended in the basement laboratory. It was down there that he would remove their organs and arrange their bones into skeletal models, which he then sold to medical schools. A year later, in 1894, Henry was apprehended. He confessed to 27 murders. However, the real body count is estimated to be around 200. In at number 4, Henry Cotton. We've come across yet another Henry. This one was a medical director at a psychiatric hospital between 1907 and 1930. He believed that the cause of his patients' insanity was untreated infections in their bone. So he began to just cut them open, with no painkillers, mind you. He would start out with their teeth because he thought they were harboring infections. If the patient still wasn't cured, which none of them would be since the theory was ridiculous, he would move on to their tonsils and then their testicles, cervixes, colons, stomach, ovaries, and spleens. Since he didn't use antibiotics, his patients would die from surgery-caused infections. But due to the fraudulent paperwork claiming that the cure rate was 85%, these treatments continued on for many years. Coming in at number 3, Walter Freeman. Walter, with the help of his neurosurgeon James Watts, performed hundreds of frontal lobe lobotomies with a metal pick. And clearly this is something that wasn't supposed to be happening. He would actually induce seizures in his patients by using electricity. He found this was the easiest way to operate on them. Once they were out, he would take the pick and sever connections to the prefrontal cortex. James eventually stopped working for Walter because his methods became too cruel to stand by. But Walter continued his work and would go on to perform thousands of lobotomies. After many patients died from his questionable methods, Walter was banned from performing surgery. In at number 2, Karl Kloberg. Karl was a doctor in the Nazi concentration camps. Karl thought he could solve the Nazis' biggest problem by sterilizing the Jewish race out of existence. And in his eyes, he had an endless number of test subjects at his fingertips. He would take the Jewish women and inject their uteruses with formaldehyde. During these injections, no anesthetic was given, and the women were all developing infections. It's estimated that he performed this treatment on over 700 women. Most of them died, but some lived. However, those who did survive suffered permanent damage, and they were sterilized for life. When the Red Army were approaching, Karl fled to another concentration camp in Ravensbrück, where he continued this horrifying experiment on the Romani women. Shortly after, he was captured. And at number 1, Farid Bata. This doctor thought it would be a good idea to lie to 500 people and tell them they were sick and going to die soon. Of course, this was all a lie he made up so that he could cash in on their treatments. He misdiagnosed hundreds of healthy patients with various deadly diseases. He would make them suffer through rounds of chemo and radiation. His lies gained him millions of dollars. He would tell his apparently terminally ill patients that their treatments were working, so they would keep paying him. However, once these healthy people began to suffer the side effects of the unnecessary cancer treatments, their teeth began to fall out as well as their hair, and they would constantly be trembling. And there you have it, that's a list of the top 5 doctors caught doing horrible things. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.